They asked him, the lying scribes and Pharisees, the Sadducees, those who believed with their lips, not with their hearts, they asked him, why? Why do you break bread with the sinners, with the unfaithful, with the unbelievers? In fact, they didn't ask him, they didn't have the courage to ask him, they asked those who Yahusha taught. Why? Why do you break bread? Why do you eat with? Why do you cavort with? Why do you teach? Why do you keep company with sinners? Those who do not follow the law of Moses. Do not follow the laws of the Pharisees, the lying scribes and hypocrites, who they themselves couldn't follow all the rules, regulations, and traditions that they had piled upon the beautiful commandments that Yahuwah had given us. The simple, basic 10 commandments that if we followed that, we knew we were on the path. We knew that we were pleasing Yahuwah, such that our life would be righteous and true. And so, the Pharisees, the holy ones, the wise ones, holier than thou, they put themselves up on a pedestal so that all should come to them for absolution, for interpretation, for guidance. Not to Yahuwah, for they were supposedly the gateway to the Most High. No. There's no gateway. There's no toll keeper. There's no ticket taker to get to the Most High. The only way to the Most High, to the Supreme Elohim, to He who breathes life, He who brings into existence, He who creates, Yahuwah. The only way to Him is through the Son, Yahusha, the Most High who saves, the Most High who delivers, the meaning of Yahusha, the Most High who redeems. But there they sit on a pedestal, wondering how this clearly super intelligent individual who speaks with such authority, whose words are so profound, whose power is so obvious and manifest. They're watching him heal a paralytic man, an individual. His words are so glorious and beautiful, and they resonate that all the peoples flock to him from the very beginning. You can't even, it's hard to even fathom that if this were today, the throngs of people that followed Yahusha around from town to town, because they knew, they saw, they heard, they received, and they had faith and belief. And everyone who came to him that had belief, he forgave their sins and he healed them in all ways. And so the Pharisees, the lying scribes, the wise ones who put themselves on a pedestal above every man, Yahusha didn't do that. He broke bread with every man, even the sinners. And so when they asked those that he was teaching, why does this man who clearly understands the law and speaks it so profoundly, interprets it so deeply, and who has such power, the power to heal, these Pharisees, these lying scribes who hand him later on, who hand him over to the Romans to be executed, they knew he was Hamashiach. They knew Yahusha was the Savior that had long been prophesied. But they didn't want to lose their power to sit on that pedestal because Yahusha took it all away from them. For in hearing Yahusha, you knew instantly that he was the gateway to the Father, not the lying Pharisees and scribes, who he said, "Woe to you, Pharisees! Woe to you, scribes, liars and hypocrites! Worship with your lips, not with your hearts." Because they were the elites. They didn't break bread with the common people. Certainly not sinners. And so when they ask his flock, why does he teach? Why does he cavort with? Why does he break bread with? Why does he keep company with sinners, unbelievers, unfaithful? And Yahusha overhears them speaking this way, and he says to them, he tells them, the healthy don't need a physician. He says that he didn't come here to heal the healthy. He didn't come here to teach the healthy, the believers, the faithful. He didn't come to save those who were righteous and true. He came here for the repentance of the sinners. For one sinner who is saved. And all the angels sing. Just one sinner repents. And all of the heavens open up. The saved are saved. Those who believe are saved. The faithful are saved. Those who confess that Yahushua HaMashiach came in the flesh are saved. Those who have faith in Yahushua HaMashiach are saved. Those who believe in Yahushua is the Messiah, they're saved. But it's the rebellious, those who reject, those who sin, those who are corrupt, those who are deceivers, those who are misleaders, those who are haters, those who are detractors, those who are psychic vampires, those who are depraved and debased and defiled and decadent, those who long and thirst after cheap thrills, cheap highs, cheap titillation. Those are the ones that Yahusha endeavors for. He has a flock, and he takes care of them like a good shepherd takes care of his sheep, such that should one wander astray, he will travel, he will leave the other 99. The other 99 are good. And he will hunt and search and look for that lost sheep to the ends of the earth, so that he can cradle that lost sheep, so that he could swaddle that lost sheep, so that he could hug that lost sheep, so he could bring that lost sheep home to the Father. Love your fellow man as you love yourself. Therein lies the commandment we receive when we ask, when us sinners, us who have rejected him, us who have lived our lives in every way, shape, and form, in complete rejection, turning our backs on the word, turning our backs on the commandments, turning our backs on Elohim, doing all manner of evil. When we turn to him and we ask for his salvation, instantly it is granted. When we hear the word, as those at the time who were sinning, who heard his word and were instantly captivated. Instantly. Right there in the moment, he says to Levi, who's collecting money on behalf of the Romans and lining his own pockets with the money of the people. He says, Levi, sitting there as he collects and profits off the hard work of others just by simply enforcing the rules of the Romans and taking a portion of their money. He says, Levi, follow me. And Levi follows him. Instantly! When you imagine seeing Hamashiach and knowing deep in your heart all the wrong you've done, and how you have the guilt and the anguish and you feel the horror of what you were, but then know in an instant, in a moment, what you truly can be. How you can finally have peace and solace and healing and love and joy and everlasting life. And the new covenant, the new law written on your heart, the word, receiving it with such power and grace and resonance. Love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your fellow man as you love yourself. The single most important commandment of which all good things, all prosperity, all wholesomeness, all love, all healing, every single way in which you need to live your life is found in that single commandment. Everything else is a branch off from that tree. Everything else is the fruit of that tree. Even the 10 Commandments. How so? Because if you love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, you will follow His commandments because you love Him, and you won't do it begrudgingly. You won't do it as the old law that's written on stone, that fades, that perishes, and that dies as man perishes and slowly fades and dies, and only reveals sin and evil and decadence, and only doles out punishment and penance. It does not reveal salvation, and so you only follow it begrudgingly because you fear the punishment, while the new law, receiving the word in your salvation through Yahuwah Yahusha, the Son of the Most High, and receiving the Ruach, the breath, the moment we are redeemed, the breath of Yahuwah, the Ruach, the set-apart Spirit, fills us with love and light and healing and joy and peace and solace and everlasting light. And that new law is written on our heart and blazoned on our heart. Love Yahuwah with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love our fellow men as we love ourselves. And now we follow. The new law reveals salvation. And so we follow it because of our redemption, because of our love, because of our joy. No longer out of punishment, no longer begrudgingly, but lovingly. Can you imagine seeing Hamashiach and knowing that instantly? And now we feel it. Since His coming, since His sacrifice, since He gave everything, Yahuwah manifest in the flesh as Yahusha, who gives everything so that we may live, while the demons, the evil ones, the evil whisperers, the psychic vampires of this world would have us defile ourselves, deprave ourselves for their pleasure, yoke ourselves, bind ourselves, chain ourselves to their evil whims, so they control us, so they have power over us, so they can watch us do a dance of depravity, so that they may giggle, so that they may have pleasure, because misery loves company, so that we may die a slow death spiritually and physically, eating their crap, taking their drugs, their cheap, illicit drugs that produce nothing but cheap highs and cheap thrills, that have us chasing our own tails and begging for more, fiending for more, hungering, cannibalizing, clawing and scratching for more decadence, more defilement, more depravity, more drugs, more alcohol, more pornography, more cheap thrills, cheap highs, cheap titillations, more and more and more. It's never enough. More money, more houses, more cars, more power, more glory, more esteem of man. All the things that ultimately leave you bereft, depressed, unhappy, wallowing in sadness and depression, anxiety and frustration, because you never know the answer. Every time one of these false prophets sells you a bill of goods, some self-help mumbo jumbo, some new age philosophy, some way, some new age gobbledygook, some spell they cast over you that, oh, just name it and claim it. Your words manifested become your reality. Live your truth. Live today as if it's your last day. Live for today. All of these, all through the ages, all of these false promises that have you finding salvation in the flesh, finding salvation within yourself, self-help. There's only the imperfect being, who we are, imperfect, sinners, evil, fallible, mistake-ridden, hungry, longing, thirsting, anxious, frustrated, in despair and sorrow, always wondering, always looking for answers, always climbing mountains, always getting to the top of one, finding we're at the bottom of another, always opening one door, there's another lock before it, always asking questions, getting them answered, finding more questions behind it, because it's never enough. Because we cannot create perfection. We cannot save ourselves. Imperfect beings cannot create perfection, though we might try. Icarus tries to fly, builds a set of wings, man-made set of wings, and flies, and he gets too close to the sun in his hubris, in his arrogance, as we do today with all types of technology and AI. There are those among us who want immortality, and they think they'll gain immortality, everlasting life through technology. They'll think they will gain supreme intelligence and all the answers to the universe through technology, through AI, all of these things. This is nothing more than Icarus, another iteration of Icarus, and in our hubris we will burn, we will be rendered asunder, we will be destroyed, we will plunge back down to earth with our wings singed. Because the only way to create perfection, the only way to paradise, the only way to true salvation is not through imperfection, it's through perfection, it's through Yahusha, it's through the Creator, Yahuwah, omniscience, omnipotent, true perfection, who created us, giving us free will and the ability to make choice, because in making the choice to love him with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, there is value in that. There is worth in that. There is skin in the game in that. If he just simply showed himself to you and made it as simple as 2 + 2 = 4, and then you follow all these rules, you're only following because you have to. Because, hey, I have to. It's 2 + 2 = 4. You know, during the day it's light out, during the night it's dark out. You know, I breathe in air, right? I breathe in oxygen, I breathe out carbon dioxide. You know, it's just an immutable law, and so it is. It's a reflex. It means nothing. You don't think about breathing, you just do it. Only when you're gasping for air does it mean something to you. Only when you're gasping for salvation does Yahuwah mean anything to you. Only in finding and receiving the Word. Praise Yahuwah for his epiphanies and his revelations and his understandings. And I only receive them by doing this every day, by getting on my knees, by training, by getting into flow state, by communicating with him and receiving the love and the healing and the grace. It means something. It means something when a sinner, when an evil one, when someone who is decadent, depraved, defiled, and debased, as I was, as we all are, and I am still imperfect today. I'm still full of sin today. I'm still full of all the fallible imperfections of any human. I'm no different than you. I'm no different than anyone. I'm no better than anyone. And in knowing just how fallible I am, do I understand the value and the grace and the glory and the love and the healing of Yahuwah. Not because I have to, it's because I have the choice. And in wanting to, in needing to, with every fiber of my being, with every cell in my body, with every molecule that makes me up, wanting his love, wanting his grace, wanting his healing, wanting his joy, wanting his light, wanting his everlasting life, to leave the darkness behind, to leave the cheap thrills, cheap titillations, cheap highs of this world behind, and no longer having to follow the flesh and being in this world, no longer being of this world, still having to be in it, but no longer being of it, such that no longer am I of the flesh and for the flesh, but I am of the Spirit and for the Spirit. I am filled with the Ruach. I'm filled with these words. I know not what I say. I just speak it because I am in flow state from training on it and praying on it and ruminating on it and contemplating and then coming to you and sharing the good, because I am so full of his glory, so full of his love, so full of his healing, so full of the word. Love Yahuwah with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love my fellow men as I love myself. So receiving so much. I have too much. It's overflowing. It's flooded. It's a tsunami. So should I share this message? Because I am compelled to. I have to share the good news. I cannot keep it to myself. I cannot be selfish any longer. I cannot keep this inside me. I have to share it. And I want to live as an example for my people. Not by admonishing them, not like the lying Pharisees and scribes who put themselves on a pedestal and admonish and preach fire and brimstone that you have to follow, or else repent or you'll be destroyed. As much as that is true, that is not the way, the truth, and the life. Yahusha teaches with love and healing and with joy, and And he lived as an example. We live as an example for our people, such that when they see the light has shined out on you, shining from within you, and that you can see, they know that you can see the narrow path because it's emblazoned and illuminated with the light of the Ruach, with the set-apart spirit, and that you follow it now, and that you are now like they once were, full at the time of despair and depression, anxious, even though you hit it well. You hit it well, filled with worry, filled with hatred, filled with desires, filled with lust, filled with temptation, filled with decadence, depravity, defilement, debasement, filled with all manner of hopelessness and being lost and questioning everything, rejecting everything. Cynicism abounds, constantly longing, hungering and thirsting, cannibalizing, clawing and scratching for more, 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 and it's never enough, never enough, never enough. Greedy, jealous, envious, wiped away the instant he floods over you and you ask and you instantly receive, knowing that that's who I was. And rejecting all this truth until finally knowing that I couldn't live without it, finally knowing that I couldn't be healed without it, finally knowing that I was destroyed without it, finally knowing that I was perishing and dying without it, finally knowing that there was a way out of all of that hell, that hellscape, including being struck down with cancer twice, monstrous tumor on my left kidney, having my kidney removed, another tumor in my liver, having over the past 8 years, all sorts of health crises, liver issues, all of these things, and then seeing other things pop up, other small lesions, and all of it wiped away. And you want to listen to some of my other messages, you'll hear the whole story. But over and over and over and over again over the past 8+ years, healed. All of that decadence and depravity and all the illness and disease and all the lust and the temptation and all of the things that befuddled me, all the things that tripped me up, all the things that always got in my way, all the conquest, all the power seeking, all the glory seeking, all of that never-ending hunger, gone, wiped away. True peace for the first time in my life, true solace, true love, true healing. And wanting, not because I had to, not because I was going to be punished, not because I feared the fire and brimstone. You must fear Yahuwah. How could you not? But the love for Yahuwah is so strong, and that is the commandment. The fear is obvious, the respect is obvious, the reverence is obvious, but the love, to do things out of love, changes the game. This is what I mean. For all those that want proof that Yahuwah exists, and then they'll follow, then they'll believe. There's no value in it. There's no value in it. You pay nothing. You put no skin in the game. What does it cost you to have faith when it's right there in your face? When he gives you the 2 + 2 = 4, when he shows you, when he exposes himself to you, when he reveals himself to you, and no man could take that. If he showed his face to you, it is impossible to fathom such a thing. But if he made it manifest such that it was like breathing in the air and like drinking the water and like eating and like everything becomes just a reflex and it means nothing. Food means nothing until it's taken away from you forever and you starve. Water means nothing to you until you take it away and you're dying of thirst. Air means nothing to you, as I said before, until you're gasping for it. And until you get to that place where you need it when you need it in order to live, when you need it in order to thrive, when you need it in order to have peace, when you need it in order to have solace, when you need it not because you'll be destroyed, but because you need love, you need healing, you need joy, and you know you need it. Not until you're ready to come to the Father on your knees and ask for his salvation. Does it all make sense? Does it all mean something? And when you do, you receive all the answers you were searching for before but couldn't figure out. It's like I said, you're flooded with it. You receive all things, all answers, all revelations, all epiphanies are revealed to you. Everything you've ever searched for and hunted for behind the mask of the treasures and the riches and the wealth of this world, all the materialism, everything, all the power and glory and esteem you sought in this world, which left you with nothing, and what were you really searching for? Nothing, but you were searching for peace, you were searching for solace, you were searching for joy, you were searching for healing, you were searching for love. and you were searching deep in the heart. You feared death, but now you have everlasting life. And so everything you were searching for and everything that everyone else still searches for today is not found here in the flesh and on this earth. It's found in Yahuwah, Yahusha. And it's ultimately found in the kingdom to come. His new earth, his new universe, his new world, where there will be no more demons, no more evil ones, no more evil whisperers, corruptors, misleaders, deceivers, psychic vampires, negative influence, no, Hashatan, Lucifer, Satan, all crushed beneath his feet, where he lives amongst us once again, where the world will be judged, and the saved will be saved, and the repentant will know him. He will live amongst us once again, and we will find in that kingdom to come. We're on the narrow path now. We see it. It's emblazoned with his light, his love, his glory. You cannot miss it. The Ruach, the set-apart spirit, the breath of Yahuwah that lives within us, keeps us on it, guides us, keeps us on that straight and narrow, makes it easy for us, illuminates it, emblazons that path so we see it clearly. You cannot miss it any longer. You're no longer in the dark. You're no longer stumbling around in the dark. All evil and sin are done in the dark. But when the light of Yahuwah, the Most High, smashes into the darkness exists no more. The darkness cannot fathom it. The darkness cannot overcome it. The light dissolves it, and you see the true path. You see it all. You know the way, and the Ruach keeps you. The Ruach, the set-apart spirit, the breath of Yahuwah, keeps you on the straight and narrow, compels you to walk the straight and narrow. And in surrendering to Yahusha and asking him to guide you, to show you, to give up total control over, as you did before, and to nothing but your own anxiety, your own frustrations, your own bereftness, your own despair, your own depression, your own hungering, your own loss, your over and over again, never finding the answers, never finding the way, never having truth, never having peace, never having love, constantly hungering, thirsting, clawing, scratching, cannibalizing. Now, finally, everything that you're searching for, it is found. The path, the one true way, you see it. It's there. Everything you've ever searched for, everything you've ever tried to get to some answer, to some place, to paradise, to absolution, to knowledge, to understand meaning and purpose. Here it is. Finally, you've received it. You see the path. The Ruach keeps you on the path. You're compelled to follow the path. You know finally the way, the truth, and the life. It's a narrow path. We'll stumble, we'll fall, but the Ruach will keep us straight and true. It leads to that narrow gate, and once we walk through it, he lives amongst us once again. In the great resurrection, he lives amongst us, and we live everlasting life with him as he walks amongst us, and we can love, honor, glorify, worship, praise him with all our hearts, souls, minds, and strength. And we have everlasting love, everlasting peace, everlasting joy, everlasting healing, and everlasting life in his new kingdom to come. And we can exist eternally with joy, with grace, with healing, with redemption, in a manner that pleases him most. We can live we surrender to him completely because we've tried it our way. It left us nowhere. It left us, as I said, bereft and lost and hopeless, constantly clawing, scratching, cannibalizing. But we surrender to him, and we ask him to show us the way. We no longer try to manipulate circumstances, manipulate outcome, manipulate results, manipulate people, manipulate environments. We simply ask him, we surrender completely to Yahuwah, Yahusha, and ask him to guide us. And in his salvation, we receive the Ruach, we receive the set-apart spirit, and we are guided. We are directed, and he shows us how to live our life in a manner that pleases him most as best we can, because we are imperfect. But we're headed to the most perfect place. That we're headed to paradise. We're headed to the kingdom to come. And we're on this road straight, true, and strong. Steadfast, taller than ever, stronger than ever. Living as an example for our people so they can see that we who once were like they are now, that they can see that wretches like we are saved, such that they know that if we could be saved because we were just like them, that they could be saved. And so we walk. We march like a juggernaut, ceaseless and relentless, unconquerable, undeniable, unassailable, to kingdom come.